you are friends with a couple who's going through a divorce. I know, tragic. But I believe that there's three potential reactions that each of these people in this couple could possibly go through. One is going to be the complete breakdown. Two is going to be the replacement project. Who can they find to fill the void of the person they've just lost? And three, the glow up, where they become the person that they were meant to be. Now, if you are in this situation, or if you have friends in this situation, how'd it turn out? Now, before we go any further, I've been through all three of these things. So no judgment, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you which is the appropriate response to a divorce or a breakup. I don't know. I've certainly been through it, and I felt all of these things. But there's just a couple of points that I want to make about replacement and how quickly some people get in there and just find a new person. I think the first response, the complete breakdown, oh my God, I felt it. I've been there, where you just feel like your world is ending. You feel like you're just curled up on the shower floor, sucking your thumb, crying your eyeballs out, and just wondering how you are going to survive without this person in your life. Like, I get it. I've certainly been there, and maybe that's something that is just part of the process, and that complete breakdown leads to one of the other two potential outcomes, the replacement or the glow up. When there's a new breakup or there's been some sort of divorce, that obviously leaves a gigantic energy void in life, a void that was filled by this person. And I think it can be a very, very natural reaction to get on the dating apps and just start looking for somebody who could come in and fill that space. And once you find somebody, you might convince yourself that this person is the right person for you because they've come along and they're filling that space of that energy that has just exited your life. But how healthy is that? You're skipping out on the alone time, on the personal growth, on the reflection of why this breakup or this divorce may have happened, and what your role in it was, and how you can improve as a person. And instead of going that entire process, you're just replacing the person with somebody new and just hoping that things are going to balance out again and you're going to be well on your way to where you thought you were going to go. That can be a problem. I mean, I've seen it work. I've seen people get divorced and remarried very, very quickly and stay together for long term, and God bless them. Like, I hope that works out. But the divorce happened for a reason. The breakup happened for a reason. And have you or your friend, whoever, taken the time to really reflect on yourself and just understand why this divorce occurred and what you can learn from it and how you can move forward as a better human being? Unfortunately, at least in some of the experiences I've seen in my life, and this is not meant to generalize for everybody, please, but I've seen it over and over again where the replacement project is ongoing, where we find somebody, we think this is the one, we either marry them and then divorce, or it's a constant stream of dating and dating app connections and first dates and just trying to find that person, or at least the next person, to fill the void until the next person comes along. And then if that person breaks up with you or says, I don't want to see you anymore, or just it doesn't work, you may go into the Rolodex in your mind and say, okay, who can I contact now? You're constantly thinking about who can I contact next if this person goes away. And in my perspective, that can be a dangerous and unhealthy cycle to get into, because again, you're not taking that alone time. You're not going out into the forests and exploring and just being alone and just saying, who am I? Like, who am I? Who do I want to be? And that is what's going to lead us into this other topic of the glow up. So hang on a second. Man, somebody knocked on the door, had a little panic. You know, when there's a knock on the door that you're not expecting, and you're like, who could that possibly be? Oh, God. Anyway, so the glow up. We all have seen people who have gone through a divorce or a breakup, and They might have that moment where they've completely broken down and be like, oh my God, what has happened to my life and what have I done? But on the other side of that is where the growth happens, where you see the real person emerge and you see them follow their passions and surround themselves with the people who push them up and surround themselves with people who they're able to reach down and help grow as people, and they're doing the hobbies that they love, and all this without constantly having another person in your life, without that cycle of significant others in your life. You're doing it for yourself. You're taking the road trips alone. You're taking the camping trips by yourself. You're spending the first however long, year, 2 years, whatever, after a significant breakup to say, who am I and what do I want out of my life? And I have so much respect for those people. And I think that that is the way. And how many times have you seen it where a friend goes through a divorce or a breakup, and before the divorce is even final, they're like, oh my God, I've met this woman, I've met this guy, and I think this person might be the one. The divorce paperwork isn't even dry yet. This isn't likely a person for you to spend the rest of your life with. This is somebody who's coming in to fill that missing energy void, and it might feel really, really good, and it might feel like this is the person I want to spend my life with, but is it? I think it's so important to make sure that you have that feeling for yourself, or your friend has that feeling for himself or herself, to really understand who you are after a breakup and be able to say, I am so happy with myself and I am just fine. If I spend the rest of my life alone, that is totally okay, because I like me and I like to go on dinner dates with me and I like to go on road trips with me, and I like to pursue my hobbies and go to certain meetup groups, whatever it is, because you know that when you go to these things, you're going to find the people in your tribe and you're going to attract those people into your life. And maybe by through one of those events or excursions or whatever you have going on, somebody might walk right into your life and just walk right by your side for the whole rest of the time without even trying, without even going through swiping left, swiping left, swiping left, swiping right. I don't even know which one is yes and no these days. I haven't been on a dating app in years. But without the swipes, without the first dates, without the awkwardness, without wondering if this person is the one, you just go through your life for you because you love it and because you're experiencing the things you want to experience. And odds are pretty damn good that in that process, a partner is going to come. And I think the key here is to be okay if that person is there or not. If that person is with you and you're enjoying a wonderful time together, and there's no jealousy and there's no revenge, and there's the only good feelings of happiness and love and wanting that person to succeed, then you're going to be on the right track. If you start to feel like, oh, the control, I want to control this person and keep this person from seeing other people, or I feel like this person is controlling who my friends are, then there might be some sort of a problem, and that person might just veer right out of your life once again. But you got to be okay with it either way. If you meet somebody amazing, that feeling of like latching on, like, oh, here's my person, I'm going to hold on tight. I heard once that a relationship is like a bar of soap in the shower. Like, you squeeze it too tight and it's just going to pop right out and you're going to lose control of it. And if you hold it too loose, it's going to slide right out of your hand. But if you just kind of hold it gently and just perfect, then it's going to stay with you. And that's really resonated with me in my life and certain relationships that I have had and that I can look back on. So if you've gone through a breakup, if you've gone through a divorce, if you know people experiencing a divorce right now, just kind of take a step back and look at the reactions. I think the complete breakdown is natural. I think we're all going to experience that. I know I have more than once. And it's what happens after that. Do we start getting on dating sites and just seeing who we can bang, who our next relationship is? Or do we look internal and grow as a human being and just trust that we're going to be okay? Whether that's by ourselves or whether that's with a partner, or maybe a couple of partners. Who knows? I mean, there's no judgment, there's no requirements, there's no expectations. Like, who's going to come into your life naturally and organically and make you feel better as a human being? I think especially as we're getting into this whole midlife phase and divorces happen, new relationships happen. I think that's super important to keep in mind, because we are going to meet people, and we are going to kind of default to our own, or to our old ways of needing to feel good, especially if we've been in a relationship for 20, 30 years and that relationship is suddenly not there anymore. There's a very natural reaction to say, I need to fill it. I need to fill that spot. Like, there's an empty spot, like literally in my bed or on my couch, and I need to fill it. I don't think you do. I don't think you need to fill that. I think you can let that spot be empty and let yourself expand into that spot and just see where you go and see what you attract. Again, I don't mean to be on here and say, here's what's right and what's wrong, because I don't know. Clearly, I don't know. But from my experience, what I've seen people go through, the questions I ask myself in my head as I see things happen and as I reflect on my own experiences, I think it's super important to take time alone and grow as a human being, really understand you and who you are and what your desires are and what you want out of life before jumping into another relationship. But that's just what I think. What do you think? What are your experiences? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you for spending a few minutes of your time with me. I greatly appreciate it. And hope you subscribe to the channel too. I just love it. I love to have you on board, and I'm excited to hear your stories. Thank you for joining me, and I'll see you next time.